G'day guys, ZiggyD here and welcome back to ZiggyD Trades for day 7 and 8. I took a day off for Christmas to spend some time with family, and I thought I'd combine a short day and a regular day together here with day 7 and 8. So, no major mistakes to report this time. I've been doing okay. I do think this thing, which you guys have probably already seen in a video I did, is potentially a mistake though. So I did Chayula, and I got skin of the, I can't remember what the unupgraded version is called, but the unupgraded version of this, which is +1 sockets, increased global defenses, and it had these colors, right? So this thing alone, there was one up on poe.trade for 4x, so maybe I could have sold it for like 3 to 4x or something. Very good colors for this with +1 gems. Very nice. One green and one red with the rest being blues. Great colors. And I had the Blessing of Chayula, which I could have sold for like another 4x, right? So I could have sold this for 3-ish and maybe 4 for the Blessing of Chayula, because a lot of people buying the blessings to use on, like, for example, the necklace, the upgraded Chayula necklace, which is godly. So I got peer pressured. I got peer pressured by chat into upgrading it to Skin of the Lords, and I did actually land one of the good stats. The best ones are probably like Vile Pact, Phase Acro, Unwavering Stance, but Ghost River is probably a 4th after those. So we did okay. Energy Shield Leech with this thing, not too bad, because this is increased global defenses, which is basically 100% increased energy shield. So although it doesn't have any energy shield itself, the rest of the gear you get that gives you energy shield gets scaled by this. So you can potentially get a fair bit of energy shield from this if the rest of your gear is good, and if you have something like one of the flat energy shield passives from a cultist, for example. So this is pretty good, but I don't know if I'm going to get like 7-8 exalts back for this, right? So I think upgrading this was potentially a mistake, because I think I lost the profits that I could have gotten just by selling the two things separate. Sometimes it's better to sell these things separate and let other people take on the risk and take on the take on the decision about what things they want to use the Blessing of Chayula on, and whether they want to instead Vile this. This could have been Viled instead of upgraded for a potential +2 socketed gems, because if you get the +1 implicit, it ends up being a +2. So I do think that was a potentially mistake, but it was a very fun mistake, and I think sometimes in Path of Exile you have to take a bit of a gamble. You have to enjoy yourself a little bit, and I mean, I'm doing pretty well in terms of currency anyway. This is where we are sitting at the start of day 9. I am at 10x and like another 5-6x in other mixed currency, maybe a bit more than that. Very nice, doing very nicely. So let's go through some of our trades, and we'll take a look. So starting off with day 7, I purchased this ring here on a spiral. I've been keeping an eye on a few things. Regular breach rings with like fire damage or cast speed with life and resist. I've been keeping an eye on high rarity breach rings, and I've been keeping an eye on chaos resistance breach rings. Chaos resist for farming Chayula, rarity for magic finding the trash. So I've been trying to find some good rarity stuff, and this one appeared not exactly what I'm looking for, but 44 rarity is 88 rarity when doubled in a breach, and it has some ES on it as well. So I picked that up for 8 chaos, and I think that was not like a super cheap price. Like, I don't think I'd be flipping that for much profit, but I could potentially use that on my next character if I make an energy shield character, or I could potentially resell this for similar, if not a little bit more. So I think that was a decent purchase. So I sold this ring here, Pandemonium 12, for 4 chaos. And I wanted to highlight this one because it's an interesting example of a 3-stat piece of jewelry selling, which is something you might not think of. You might think you need like 5 or 6 really good stats on a piece of jewelry for it to sell, but 3 good stats can be enough, and especially because then you can consider that it has open affixes for using mastercrafting or potentially exalting if it's really good. In this case, probably mastercrafting percentage energy shield, because it's got a high flight energy shield, high mana regen, which is mana regen setups are mostly used with energy shield builds. So in that case, this is not too bad. And then we've got a very good amount of total resist, because we've got 75 total resist here. The 9 life doesn't matter. It's just kind of like a wasted stat. It doesn't really mean anything. So for 4C, I just thought that was interesting. This is one that I sold for 15 chaos, and an example of a ring that doesn't look great selling for a pretty decent amount of currency. This is one that people might be like, oh, like this in the past I would be like, oh, like 3-4 chaos maybe, but 15 chaos for this one. And the reason for that is very high life. That's like about as high life as you can get on jewelry, barring strength rolls to add to it. Very high total resist when you include the implicits. It's also got that kind of good mixture, right? Like it's got the high fire resist and a bit of cold and lightning to help balance out your resistances. That can be nice for people. Cast speed, so it's a spellcaster one. Cast speed's a great affix. And then dexterity. The dexterity is a bit low, but it's still dexterity on a caster piece of jewelry, which again, you'll hear me say this a lot of the time, is the stat that those people struggle to get, the one that they need to get to run greater multiple projectiles and Val Haste and things like that. So not too bad. A decent example of a ring that ended up being 15 chaos, and with some open affixes as well that could be potentially crafted. I got a Death's Hand running at Zeri. I cut off the top of the text there, but I sold this for 1x and 58 chaos. Just another brag post. Just a nice drop. The reason why this is so expensive is it's being used as an offhand for Blade Flurry. This amount even surprised me. When I found this, I'm like, oh, what are these going for, like 1x now because Blade Flurry is so popular? I was kind of joking around, thinking that, yeah, maybe they're like 1x and almost 2x. So, not too bad. Because last time this was very expensive was just after I made the Southpaw Reeve Ranger, and that used this as an offhand, and they went up to like 1x then, but now with the Blade Flurry hype, they've gone even beyond that, around 2x. I don't know what they're sitting at now. This was 2 days ago, obviously. Here is you guys requested from after seeing my first Chayula run, where I got Severed in Sleep, to see the profits that I made from that, and you will be seeing that. Severed in Sleep ended up selling for 78 chaos, I believe. Yeah, 78 chaos. Not too shabby. So the run cost me about 100 chaos. This made back most of the run, plus like the red maps and stuff that dropped, means that I basically broke even on the run from this and the trash mob drops, because they drop a lot of red maps actually. And then, well, you'll see in the next day that I ended up making quite a bit of profit on top of that. So another one that I sold was Zoph's Blood. This is the fire amulet from the Zoph fight, and this is the money drop from that fight. It's panned out to be the most profitable for me of the three elemental ones. Though I have to say, an interesting market trend that has occurred is that now the breach stones for Tull, Zoph, and Esh, and to a lesser extent Ulnatal, are worth more than the blessings are. So although the blessings have a 50% drop rate, you're buying breach stones for something like 7 chaos and selling the blessings for like 5 chaos. So you just like, if you get a blessing, you're making back some of your currency. Now the reason for this, and this is someone in chat suggested this, I think it's probably right, is that there's so many people running it now, and a lot of those people are just buying them to run for experience, because the experience is pretty good. So that's probably what's going on there. Or they're just chasing the chase drop, maybe. So there's not much profitability in these tiers anymore, I don't think. I'm getting subs in the background. I'm not even live right now. Well, thank you, mysterious sub. I'll go thank him in chat later. So I don't really think these are very profitable anymore. Chayula is definitely still profitable, but the blessing being worth less than the actual breach stone means that the profit potential of these is steadily declining, So let's go over to day 8 now, where I made a few more interesting sales in this day. So first one, I bought this ring, a breach ring here. As I said, I was watching Chaos Res rings. I spotted this one with some all attributes, decent life roll, fire, and high Chaos Res. For 34 Chaos Res being very nice. 68 inside a breach. So I bought that for 5 chaos. Remember this one. I bought that one for 5 chaos. Doom Band, another one that I bought for 5 chaos. This was another chaos resistant one with a high total life when you add the strength in. That doubles to, let's just say 80, which is another 40 lives. So yeah, it's not too bad, right? You got 80 life here and then another 40, so it's 120 total life on that ring inside a breach. Pretty good. And then the lightning chaos res to boot. It's another 5 chaos one. If I say something like that for 5 chaos, I'm getting that. Next up, I sold this jewel for 3 chaos. I highlighted this one because it's a pretty garbagey looking jewel for a softcore league. In hardcore, life and percentage ES jewels are worth a little more, but you can still sell jewels like this for like 2 to 4 chaos. Basically, something like life or energy shield and a decent damage stat, coupled with a third stat that is potentially useful to someone. In this case, lightning res helping them cap, but not very good. Yeah, 2 to 4 C. Like, don't be afraid to chuck those jewels up for like a couple chaos, and they will sell for sure. This is a ring that I found that I looked at this and was deciding what to craft. Opted for physical damage, and the reason for that is because Phys Crit Blade Flurry, obviously. Also, it being life-based help with that. The mana's probably not a big value-add stat on this particular setup, but doesn't hurt. And then it's got good resistances, with the all resist being more valuable than, say, a regular resist, because it helps with balancing your resists out, and this also adds to the fire resist. So crafted the fizz on that, and it ended up selling for 5 cows, so made like 4 cows profit on that, not too bad. This was a... oh, hold on. This seems familiar. Indeed it is. This is carrying guy that we bought for 5 cows earlier. We resold not long after. I picked it up, fiddled around with it a bit, decided that the chaos resistances rings that I already have for my current character were better, chucked it up for 10 chaos, and ended up selling it not long later. So a tidy 5 cows profit on that one. Not too bad. This one's an interesting one too that I highlighted. It's a hybrid belt, so I picked this up and saw that it had very high total life with the high life roll, the life implicit, and the strength roll, resulting in a lot of life, but also a very high energy shield roll. I'm like, and then, wait a minute, chaos resistance, and I'm like, oh. So normally I would have been like, yeah, maybe a couple chaos, right? If it was just life chaos resist, yeah, it could be like 5 to 10 C or something like that. But then the energy shield definitely led me to believe that, hey, this is potentially a hybrid belt here. So I crafted the wet on it, hoping for a high roll. I keep getting low rolls on the weapon elemental damage mastercrafts. It's like 8 to 24 at the roll ranges. I always land like 8 to 12. I swear it's 8 to 12. So I rolled that because there are some hybrid Inquisitor types floating around. So I thought, of the options I had, probably that was going to be better. And some of the other stuff's like Life Flask, heal over time affixes, which can be okay on a life-based character, but on a hybrid character, not so much. So this guy's, the guy actually bought it. I captured his image here because I was right, he is hybrid with that half-life reserved and the energy shield. So he is an example of a hybrid dude, and that's what's happened there. So next up, here is the rest of my profits from my first Chayula run. My Blessing of Chayula ended up selling for 4x and 25 fusings, so which is about 4x and 10 chaos. Very, very tidy profit. So I broke even on the other stuff, the sword and the other drops in the map, and then I made 4 and a bit X profit off that first Chayula run. So juicy. It's a tough fight, and it's a very big like currency gamble, that 100 cows. But so far, it's proving pretty well. And then that second run, obviously, you guys saw that I did pretty well on as well, getting the blessing and the skin of the people, or whatever it's called. So did pretty well on that. Something else that I've been making some money on, now that I've been getting into the Atlas a bit, and also running Chayula. Once you've unlocked some red maps in your Atlas, once you start running Chayula, a bunch of red maps drop in there. So I started selling those as well. So now we have, I've been selling shipyards. I've been selling layouts that I don't like. The bosses in shipyards are a nightmare to deal with. they're lightning warbands, and they're really gnarly. But the maps sell for 5 chaos. The layout's not too bad, so people like them. I'm preferencing the maps that I like running, and I haven't optimized my Atlas yet. I might do that in the future, but I'm preferencing the maps that I like running, selling the rest, and then buying more maps that I like running. So that's the how I'm economically handling that. So selling the shipyards for 5 chaos, and I've also been selling wastelands for 3 chaos, because I hate clearing these maps. I always miss like over 50 mobs easily, so I'd rather sell those for 3 chaos. So I've sold a bunch of those already. I've sold like probably three shipyards and 3 or 4 wastelands, so that's not a bad little way to sustain your map pool economically speaking, you know, selling some maps and buying some others. Nowadays with the Atlas, it's especially profitable to, or like, it's especially easy to sell maps. As you see, my Atlas is an absolute mess at the moment, because I've mostly been farming Breach Lords, but because people are looking for that Atlas completion, they're looking to fill out the Atlas, and people are also looking to like propel themselves through the Atlas, so more so than ever before, people are actually buying maps. So definitely consider selling maps if that's not something you've ever done before. And it's also super easy to like figure out prices and stuff like that, because people are generally pretty consistent about pricing maps, so not too hard to figure out. So that is my day 7 and 8 trades. Not too bad, a lot of profits made. Looking to settle in and farm a whole bunch more Chayula now. I can run Chayula very smoothly. I can do it deathless as well. So that means each time I run it, I get like 10% XP. So if I do 10 runs, and don't die, I'm also going to level up, which is going to be really nice too. So considering I'm at 91 now, it's actually pretty difficult to level up at this point. Especially in softcore, oddly enough. Like in hardcore, yeah, you can just kind of grind it out and you'll eventually level. But in softcore, you play a little bit, you play a little bit faster, a little bit looser, and you have that occasional death. And at this level, that starts to really slow down your leveling, because you lose like an hour of mapping or something every time you die. But yeah, the Chayula XP is really quite solid. So I'm going to be sinking into that and hopefully making some more profits. And I might do some, I might go into a bit more detail on some other kind of like subjects, like the profitability of doing certain specific types of farming in the future as well. If you guys are interested in that, we'll check that out. But that is going to be it for now. Hopefully all your drops are grand, and hopefully all your trading interactions are pleasing social ones. That's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.